Hey trackies, welcome back to another video here on TXT Track Time. Please remember to like the video and also subscribe to the channel. In a shocking development, and yes, I say shocking because the expectation was that the men's 4x100 team was pretty strong, at least on paper, in my opinion. Well, in the shocking development, trackies, our men in the 4x100 meters do not advance to the finals. Yes, you heard it right. I didn't stutter. We do not advance to the men's 4x100 meters finals. So we did end up placing fourth in heat two or semifinal two, running a time of 38.45 seconds, which incidentally is a season's best. So the team of Akeem Blake, Jelani Walker, Jelani Garden, and Kishane Thompson clocked a 48.45, as I said, to place fourth in their heat. Taking the win was China. Um, and France was second and Canada was third. No, top three automatically qualified at the next best two times, made it through to the finals. Unfortunately, our 38.45 was not fast enough to get us into the finals. So, what went wrong? Well, Akeem Blake gave us a good enough start. Checking, his leg, there was not much of a, change in terms of the stagger on all the athletes. So I would say that he handed over pretty dead even, you would say, with most of the athletes that were running. But then, things, quickly turned left, on the second leg, in which Jelani Walker was supposed to hand over to Jelani Garden. Jelani Garden just, point blank period, run we left the button. Yep, he ran, left the button, and I was like, oh my gosh, don't tell me I'm seeing what I'm seeing. Right? Because we were in, a good enough position, but the mere fact that he left the button means that he had to also slow down so that he didn't leave the zone to try to get the button, which he did. And handed over the baton to Kishane. Kishane was well behind, was able to put himself back in fourth place, but it wasn't enough. It was not enough at all to get Team Jamaica, the men's team, into the finals. My thoughts, at first I'm thinking, okay, how did this even happen? Because I'm thinking to myself, from the beginning of, them having a camp there in Europe for the athletes, I believe that the athletes such as a Jelani Walker, Jelani Garden were there, practicing for the relays. So my thought process is, how did we spend that many weeks, trying to refine our skills in the relay and not, and or at least come to this stage and, things just literally turn left. And then I remember it's the same it's the same problem. We're not getting enough practice. It's the same thing that I've been talking about time and time and time again. Every single time I do a video talking about the relays, and I'm saying, listen, we're getting no practice. So yes, the men are fast individually on paper when you look at them, but because we're not getting any practice, one, the button is slowing down. So we're not able to run the times that we're able to run. Well, in this instance, because of lack of practice, you know what I mean, just even navigating when to take off was an issue, you know what I mean. And here henceforth, we're at this particular point where the athletes were not able to get through to the next round. So my big question at this particular point is, when change are gonna come? When is change going to come? I heard Silver Francis earlier on a video talk about, how best he thinks, to get Jamaica the well needed practice we need, given that, in his opinion, the individual experts of the athletes is more important than anything else, given again the athletes are there to earn, and their earning power happens when they compete in the individual event, not from any relays. Okay, point taken, right? But he said what we can do is actually get a set of athletes together from early season and have them practicing from well before we get to trials and, of course, the Olympic Games. Problem is, J3 is like, well, we don't know who is going to make the team. Jamaica may ask you one good question. Don't it, year after year after year, we have a good indication of which athletes potentially have the chance of making Team Jamaica? So you mean to tell me, say, J3s can know which athletes potentially have the chance of making Team Jamaica? Select them same athlete there and put them in a one camp throughout the year and go make them practice. So by the time we get around to trials and it's okay, XYZ place between first and third, and then they select another three to go with them. Those said six athletes were already practicing because you select 112, maybe 18, 16 athletes. You know what I mean? So we already have those athletes preparing. So we don't get to this particular point where It's all brand new all over again for these athletes. And mind you, these were a set of very, very inexperienced men on this stage. This stage. Remember, the only one that has been to, a global championship running on a relay in this round was an Akeem Blake. And he acquitted himself very well. The others had zero experience at this stage. Zero experience. And the J3s not do nothing to help them to get to this point where they can at least get the stick around safely enough to qualify for the finals, given again the caliber of the athletes. The athlete them not slow. Track is going into this race, I said these athletes are fast enough to win their heat. No questions asked. Mr. Look at Wago plays second and third. That's how confident I was in the team. But then all, hell broke loose. And here we are, where Team Jamaica is out, at least for the men in the finals, right? And it's embarrassing. It is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. We can't be sending our athletes on relays time and time again to have them look like this. Time and time again, we have them looking like this. Not only do we have slower athletes, beating our superstar women that have run 10, 6, 10, 5. But now we have men that are superstars now as well, getting Jamaica back in a foothold at least in the individual event in the sprints. And we're out here embarrassing them again. You know what I mean? And this happens time and time again. And I'm honestly just tired. You know what I mean? And I think given the results that we saw here blatantly, the inexperience showed, the lack of practice showed. And at this particular point, we are requesting change. We are requesting change. And J3s, if you're not going to do nothing for the athlete, then just might as well you know about to enter the 4x1. Just know about to enter the 4x1 if I saw you make the athlete them embarrass themselves, as far as I'm concerned, because this is ridiculous. Now, luckily, saving our grace and saving our face were the women. Very young as well, very inexperienced to this level as well. But guess what? They didn't enough to make it in. You know what I mean? So the team of Alana Reid, Kemba Nelson, Shasha Lee Forbes, and Tia Clayton finished third, and they clocked a time of 42.35 seconds, which is also a season's best in their heat. Taking the win was Great Britain, and France first and second in that heat. From my initial, initially watching this race, I saw issues. Definitely saw the button slowing down between second and third. So we're going to have to resolve that issue right there. I'm thinking that we could potentially maybe switch out Kemba, but switch out Kemba for who at this particular point? Will we be able to use an Akira Nugent given the fact that she has her individual event still to come? We know that Alana is not well. Can we think about the other 200-meter sprinter, Nisha Berger, right? So a lot of thoughts are swirling into my brain, but now I'm looking at the fact that the men, seemingly were in Paris for a few weeks, and well, just in Europe for a bit actually, and we're not able to, execute properly. Well, what hope do I have of a shabbily put together team doing any better? You know what I mean? And they're very young as well. So as things stand right now, I'm not really sure what to expect from our women in the finals. They gave it their all in the heats. Tia and Alana looked very good, in my opinion. And I think Sasha Lee maintained what she got. I just think the button slowed down significantly on Kemba's legs. So that has to be rectified. I don't know how that's going to be rectified because as far as I'm concerned, we don't really have many people to even choose from to begin with at this particular point. So that's all she wrote right now for the relays. At least we're in the finals. So once you're in the finals, anything can happen. You know what I mean? So I'm still supporting our athletes. You know how things go. It's not the best, trackies. It's not the best. We lost Sharika. We lost Shelly. And clearly we lost Elaine earlier on in the season. So it's clearly not the best. We're pretty much starting over based on this team that we've assembled, right? So anything that they can give us right now, we'll just take, and it is what it is at this particular day. And I'm just looking forward to better things to come from these athletes in the future once they're done black, green, and gold again. Other things to report on: Nabaski Anderson was in the men's 800 meters for the repechage round. Unfortunately, he didn't make it through that round to the semifinal round. So this, is where his participation at the Olympic Games ends in the men's 800 meters. Additionally, we had Ladrika Cameron, as well as Daniel Thomas Dodd in the shot put, and they also did not successfully qualify to the finals. So that is what happened this morning in the morning session. Yeah, so the big shocker is that the Jamaican men team did not qualify for the finals. Absolutely a shocker. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As usual, like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.